Should you go to ATP Flight School in 2020? As someone that went to the program 4 years ago, what are my thoughts on ATP Flight School nowadays? Should you go? Is it worth it? Is it the best training? Is it the quickest way? Here are my answers. We're starting off today in Nice, going to the gym. Gonna try and go to this gym called Tropic Gym, get a leg workout in, and then we're going to Monte Carlo. The gym ended up being pretty cool. Did some legs and arms. Old school kind of bodybuilding style gym. Now we're gonna take the train to Monte Carlo, see what's going on there for Christmas. We're here at Nobu, Monte Carlo, and I'm here to talk to you guys about exactly my thoughts on ATP in 2020, the financial side of it, and my best recommendations. One of the best places to go in Monte Carlo if you ever visit is go to the Fairmont and have a drink at Nobu, at the little restaurant bar overlooking the bay. Normally in the summertime, this bay is filled with mega yachts. And it's a pretty amazing sight to see. As you might be able to tell, it's really windy right now and pretty cold. So I was thinking about filming this video outside and talking to you guys, but I might just film it inside back in my hotel room. I'm standing outside the Monte Carlo casino right now in the background. Pretty dope. All right, guys, the big question. Should you go to ATP Flight School in 2020? And here's all my thoughts and my answers to that question. First off, if you don't know me, or if you might have seen some of my previous videos, my whole YouTube channel started really about documenting my flight training going to ATP Flight School in 2016. 4 years ago, I did the 100-hour multi-fast track program with them, completed it in just under 5 months, coming in with my private pilot credit, and became a multi-engine instrument rated flight instructor. Got an instructor job. I didn't instruct with ATP. That's another thing for another video. I would recommend against that, but aside, I went to ATP and honestly I really enjoyed it. I think that I was one of the more successful people in the program, and I got it done exactly as advertised. So I had a really good experience 4 years ago with ATP. I got all my ratings done. I got them done fast, which was my main priority. You knock them out with speed to get me into a position where I could be young with all my ratings, build time, and progress in my career as fast as possible. So it gave me a huge jump start in my career. Most people, they take several years to get all the ratings. It took me less than 6 months to go from a private pilot all the way up to a fully certified flight instructor with all the instructor accreditations. So for me, it was great. I passed every check ride. I didn't fail a single check ride, didn't fail a single written, and it was very, very smooth. But was it difficult? Yes, it was very difficult. For me, I came in with a lot of previous pilot knowledge. I came in as a private pilot already, and as somebody who had been involved in aviation or just loved aviation and known about it and researched it and studied it kind of my whole life. I started flying Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 10 when I was like 11 years old. Did that for years. I would read aviation books when I was young. I did my first flying lesson when I was 10. I did an intro flight and flew in a Piper Archer. So I had a lot of things going for me, and I really gave it my all, gave it my 100%, and it took every ounce of energy and dedication I had to get done, especially the flight instructor training side of it. So it was hard, but that was 2016. Should you go in 2020? My answer for most people is no, and here's why. The cost of the training has gone up significantly. They have 2 programs now. They have one that is their standard program where you get 25 hours of multi-time. That's $80,995, so just shy of $81,000. And then they have another program which is $98,999 95 if I'm not mistaken, just shy of $100,000. So roughly 80 grand or 100 grand. The 100 grand you get 100 plus odd number hours of multi-time. 112 multi-time is what they advertise versus 25 multi-time in the regular program. My opinion on that is the multi-time really doesn't matter that much, and I think you can do the standard program now pretty good. So I would definitely not pay the extra 20 grand for the multi-time. My recommendation towards you in today's age, before you had to do your multi-CFI initial in a multi-airplane because it was the only complex airplane they offered, but now you can use a TAA or even just you can use to do your commercial stuff, and then you can do your initial CFI in a 172 now, which is cool. So the rules, the regulations have changed. I don't want to get too much into that, but I would recommend the shorter program. But the cost has gone up a lot, and for most people, it's a big financial commitment. Obviously, that's a lot of money, and people understand that. But this is like going to college and making a private university decision. And especially for somebody who's young, I think the biggest, most attractive thing about ATP back in the day was you could come in at 18 years old and knock out all your ratings by the time you're 19, flight instruct, and then be ready to go to the regionals by 21 and be flying jets at 20, 21 years old. It's changed a little bit. So the price has gone up, which is a deterrent. Obviously, through the years, price is gonna go up naturally, but it's getting to be a lot of money. It already was a lot of money. And then they have certain prerequisites now, which I think is good for them because a lot of people did fail out and not understand how difficult the program was back in the day. I still think that's kind of the case, but now they require an associate's degree, equivalent work experience, equivalent military experience, or 60 hours of college credit before you can come into the program, I think, or a private pilot certificate. I'll have to check on that. But you have to come in with something, and then they do an admissions flight. I don't really know what goes on during this admissions flight. I didn't have to do it, but I think they basically just do an intro flight. I don't know how they evaluate you if you have 0 time on an intro flight, but I guess they do, and they kind of interview you and make sure you're a good fit for the program. But here's the deal. It is a very hard program. You have to dedicate yourself to it. Can you do this on the side of a job? Absolutely not. I would not recommend that. I don't think they'll allow you to do it. So if you have college or you have a job or anything going on, count that out. So to do ATP, you need to dedicate 9 months. It's advertised 9 months. It might take you closer to 12 months to do the program. You need to block this time out for the program. There's no way you can do other things and make this work. But there's prerequisites for somebody that's young. Why would you go get an associate's degree or do 60 hours of college credit, pay all the money for that, and then do ATP, just get in more debt? I think that's a terrible idea. One of the big things that appealed to me about ATP was you could be 18, fresh kid, do ATP, and then start making money with a salary job at 19 years old and paying back the debt that you do have, and then maybe still have time to do college online on the side. So by the time you get to the regionals, you're 21, then 23, going to a major, you'll have all these boxes knocked out. So you've got the college thing and the flight training thing knocked out. But yeah, I think with the prerequisites and the cost is a big deterrent. My personal loan, I paid just over $800 a month, and I did not do Wells Fargo or Sallie Mae, one of the advertised loan programs with ATP. It was a private loan. I paid just over $800 a month. I know people paying like $1,000 a month. And especially for a flight instructor, that's really, really scary, because my paychecks when I was a flight instructor making 30 grand a year, I was taking home after taxes maybe 2,100 bucks a month. And so that's half your money. So I mean, if you want to live with your parents and pay that back and then get to a regional and maybe start to, you know, that's hard. Yeah, I just think, and then the loan programs, Wells Fargo and Sallie Mae, from what I understand, most of them are variable interest. I know people that are trying to refinance through different programs and get out of their variable interest commitments with those programs. So I just think it's, on that end, it's kind of a scary thing. And then also, just on the side of training, yes, it's fast. If your goal is speed and money isn't as big of a deal, I think it's a great thing. Speed, it'll get you there quickly, for sure. So if you're older, you might have some more money, some more credit history to be able to get a better loan. Yeah, I think it might be a good idea if you commit and go for it. But if you're younger, the thing about it is it's a strict training curriculum, and if you mess up or you're struggling, the instructors in the program is not willing to work with you to help you catch up. It's not customized. It's lesson by lesson planned out, and if you can't handle it, you can't handle it, and that's it. It's not like a local flight school or something to where, oh man, my steep turns were really bad, or like I'm really having a problem with DME arcs, and I'm trying to do some extra lessons, or oh, I've got this commitment this day and I can't make it. It's not like that. So I think for most young people, the better option is to go to a local flight school and just say, hey, I want to do all my ratings in a 12-month period. Let's get together with one of their CFIs or their head flight instructor, tailor a program to me, and it'll be much cheaper. And then the only problem with that is the money, okay? There might not be loans for that, but if at all possible, I would recommend pay as you go. Maybe take a little bit more time if you're younger, because you're gonna save a lot more money, you're gonna get better training, or try and find some private lender that will work with you and understand your situation. Talk to AOPA, talk to different programs, scholarships, grants, maybe even consider a university, but be careful because student debt and flight training debt is a real thing, and it's a lot of money, and you're not going to realize it now because you're just like, oh, I want my ratings, and then that $1,000 a month payment's going to hit, and you're going to be like, oh damn, that's a lot. So the money factor, the quality of training, I really don't think it's there, and they give you minimal time in the airplane, the absolute minimal time in the airplane, and I have plenty of friends that have gone through it, even recently, and they've succeeded, but there's a lot of complaints about it. It's more or less kind of like a sweatshop to get your ratings. If you want to get them fast, you can make it happen, but I think there's quality for cheaper elsewhere. If you want to watch my video on freelance flight instructing and kind of how I break down all the costs of getting your ratings, I forget the number that I came up with, but maybe somewhere between 40 and 70, maybe $80,000 on the high end to do all your ratings, which is comparable to ATP, but I just don't recommend ATP at this point in 2020. I think I don't like it. I don't really like it that much anymore. And I think there's better ways. I think you should work with a local flight school or a freelancer, save your money, maybe take a little bit more time and really figure out if it's right for you. But if you are interested in ATP, check out atpflightschool.com. I went through the program, I succeeded, but there's a lot of people that did struggle with it. It's hard, it's tough, but I mean, that's the nature of it. And if you want to grind it out and make the commitment and get it done quick, all the power to you. It's what I did. It might be good for you, but consider all your options, and I would put ATP more at the bottom of your list and see if there's any way that's better suited for you, and then maybe use them as a backup. I would not make that your first choice of flight training. So I hope this video helps. I hope this breaks down a little bit of my thought process through the money, the training aspect, the quality of training, and how ATP works. And if it helps you, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Soar to your full potential. Peace.